This episode is brought to you by our friends at Hover, the easiest way to buy domain names and do more with them. Get 10% off today by visiting hover.com/gadgettv.
Hi, this is Andrew Moore-Crispin for Gadget TV on Butterscotch.com, and today we're taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy S Captivate. Now you can get this guy for between $0 and $450. $0 obviously being if you're willing to sign your life away with a long-term contract, $450 if you're not willing to sign a contract at all with a cell phone carrier. Now, as you can see, the star of the show here is a 4-inch super bright screen. Now this is a Super AMOLED screen, and the resolution on it is 480 by 800 pixels. Now, we like AMOLED technology because it is a battery-friendly technology. It's also not passively backlit like LCD technology is, so that means it's very visible and in even bright sunlight. Now, the phone is running Android 2.1 Update 1. If we make our way into the settings here, we can go down to About Phone. There we go, firmware version 2.1 Update 1. Now, Samsung's mentioned that an update to 2.2 is forthcoming. They haven't given any time frame on that, but hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later, because then we can use functions like the hotspot function of Android 2.2. If we go back to the home screen here, then we can see that once again we have a modified skin running atop Android 2.1. So we can see here a slightly different way of looking at the Android operating system. Typically we'd have an applications button down here. We'd have the multiple home screens would be handled a little differently, but we have, as you can see here, 7 home screens that we can add widgets to and different applications. If we go into the applications menu here to see all of our applications, you'll see this is also handled differently. Rather than scrolling up and down, as is typical in an Android 2.1 or 2.2 device, we're actually scrolling side to side. And we're also dealing with many of the application icons that have actually been modified slightly by Samsung to fit with their own skin. So now we'll go in and open up the Samsung Apps application. Now this is where we can get many of the apps that Samsung has actually had designed specifically for their devices and for their skins. So you can see there's actually some reasonably compelling offerings in here. We have a Social Hub, which allows us to push email and IM. That basically becomes the one place that you need to go to check your social feeds. We also have the Kobo ebook reader here, a bunch of other stuff, Lingo, several other things here. Now this is pretty much the extent of it. You see we have one game here, a couple of movie-type applications and that kind of stuff. But this is the extent of the Samsung apps for this device right now. And this is obviously aside from the ones that we already have installed on the device. So let's take a quick look at the hardware itself. Go back to the home screen here. So we see here we have a speaker grill on the top. Down here we have capacitive touch buttons. So for things like settings, home, move back one menu, and search. And these will all change their function depending on what application we're actually in. There's also a proximity and a light sensor up in the top here. We have a volume rocker on the side here, a 5-megapixel camera on the back, and here we have our power button. Now you can see on the side here that it's actually a nice looking, sort of like, it's almost like a carbon fiber kind of look. See if I can peel the sticker off. Apparently I can't, that's okay. But it is a nice carbon fiber looking kind of thing, and it has a nice hand feel to it. It's slightly tactile, pretty grippy, so the phone won't be sliding out of your hands as you're trying to use it. Now it has obviously the full HTML web browser of the Android operating system, and we mentioned the 5-megapixel camera on the back. That'll also allow us to capture video in 1280 by 720, so that's 720p high definition. Let's talk really briefly about tech specs. Inside, we're running a Cortex A8 Hummingbird processor. That's a 1 gigahertz processor. We have 512 megs of RAM. We mentioned the 480 by 800 pixel Super AMOLED screen. Now, it's a reasonably light phone at 128 grams or 4.5 ounces. Now, as we mentioned, 1 gigahertz processor and 512 megs of RAM. That meets the recommended system specs that we're hearing for Android 3.0 Gingerbread, which is supposed to be out any time now. So that's a good thing. We'll be able to, once Samsung actually gets around to updating the phone for 3.0, we'll actually be able to take advantage of that, hopefully. That's a quick look at the Samsung Galaxy S Captivate. For Gadget TV, I'm Andrew Moore-Crispin. For more sweet stuff, visit Butterscotch.com.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Hover, the easiest way to buy domain names and do more with them. Get 10% off today by visiting hover.com/gadgettv.